So UFC 306 has just taken place in the Sphere. Let's just get right into it. The main event, Sean O'Malley versus Merab. The sport's ruined. The sport is officially over. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let's start off. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. In the build-up to this, I did say in previous videos, especially Fight Week, I thought Sean O'Malley was just trying to be something he wasn't. Just trying to do too much. Now, what that too much was, I can't really put a finger on it, but in his interviews, he was constantly comparing himself, and other people were comparing him to Conor McGregor, talking about boxing matchups, etc. We should have seen this coming. Even at the weigh-ins, Sean O'Malley just didn't look like Sean O'Malley, if that makes sense. I think there was something up, maybe, I don't know, maybe just the big moment got to Sean O'Malley, but he has been here before. But nonetheless, round one starts, Sean O'Malley instantly goes on the front foot, pushing Merab back. I thought, happy days, here we go. By the way, my prediction was completely wrong. I thought O'Malley would KO him in the first. Yeah, we've seen how that went. But when it started off and Merab ended up on the back foot, O'Malley came out aggressive. I thought, this is fantastic. He's going to KO him and save this card. But no, that didn't happen. Within like a couple of seconds, couple of minutes into the fight, Merab literally has a full-scale meltdown because Sean O'Malley's head cornerman Tim Welch is shouting stuff at him. Apparently he's shouting Merab, what's 2 plus 2? And Merab just freaks out, starts shouting at him, saying to the referee. Herb Dean, by the way, was just an absolute onion in this fight as well. He was so fucking annoying, but we'll talk about that later on. They then say that it's some sort of rule that O'Malley's corner was breaking by whatever they were doing, whatever they were saying to Merab. I don't know if he did say what's 2 plus 2, I couldn't hear. I just seen that on Twitter. But nonetheless, after seeing that, I thought even better. Merab now isn't in the right headspace. O'Malley's going to catch him. Merab's not even focused on the fight. But no, that didn't happen. Round 2 then starts. Round 1, by the way, was very close. O'Malley landed some nice body shots, but yeah, let's just start talking about round 2. Round 2, Sean O'Malley just really wasn't Sean O'Malley in this fight with his striking. He seemed very flat in there, especially at one point. He went to hit Merab with a straight right, but just really overextended himself, which we never really see Sean O'Malley do. And Merab was able to get quick in there on the hips and take him to the mat. After I seen that, I just thought, yeah, this is over. Let's just wrap this up, put the belt around Merab now, save us the rest of these fucking 3 boring rounds we're going to have to sit through. Merab's just Merabing at the minute. Merab's just going to Merab Sean O'Malley. But anyway, then at other points, you seen, I think it was the second round, Merab started to like kiss the neck, like back. That sounds weird, but of Sean O'Malley when he had him in like, Merab done it a couple of times in this fight where it was like he had the head of Sean O'Malley, as if he was going to cinch up a guillotine, but instead he would just like kind of, he wouldn't like go for it, but he would like have O'Malley in that position and then just lean over, put all his weight on him, make Sean O'Malley carry him. Sean O'Malley, surprisingly, like, he didn't gas in there, but I mean, outside of the wrestling, there wouldn't be no other reason for him to gas because he was so inactive for some reason in there. He threw no kicks until the 5th round, and when he started to throw kicks, they started to work. Now, obviously, maybe he was a bit skeptical because Merab could have caught the kicks, taken him down, but you were already being taken down, so I just don't know why they didn't then start to implement, especially that front kick early on, because it would be a good way for O'Malley to keep Merab off him and keep him at range. But nonetheless, Sean O'Malley did cut up Merab at points. He reopened that cut on his eye, and he did bust open that big nose of Merab. But yeah, that's just a typical Merab performance. Merab was just Merabing in there. He did have a lot of success though. Not a lot of success, but normally when Merab gets his opponents down, they do get right back up. He was able to gain a bit of control time over Sean O'Malley. Didn't do anything with it really. At one point O'Malley went for an armbar, I believe, but Herb Dean was quick to see O'Malley cheating with his hand in the glove and called that shit right away. Outside of that, not much really happened. I mean, most of this fight was Merab shadowboxing, staying out of range with Sean O'Malley, throwing punches like this when he wasn't even in range with him. It was just such a shit fight, to be honest. Really, this is another thing. This is a theory I've got now. Sean O'Malley has basically faced like zero adversity in his UFC career. You've got the Cheeto Vera loss. That's a freak accident. He was piecing Cheeto up. Outside of that, there hasn't been anything. He had no adversity against Aljo. Aljo couldn't really get anything going on him. Cheeto Vera the second time couldn't get anything going on him. The only time we have ever seen Sean O'Malley really face adversity and things like not go his way instantly was Petr Yan and Merab, and he arguably lost both. Well, he definitely lost to Merab, and he arguably lost that fight to Petr Yan. So maybe that's just something to take into consideration. If Sean O'Malley can't get going right away, and you can show him a bit of adversity in there, make him think about either on the feet with a grappling, etc. If you don't let him take control right away, maybe Sean O'Malley is very beatable for a lot of people. What's going to be next is obviously Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov, a fight that I just can't wait for. I am so excited to see Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Like, it's just such a fun matchup, isn't it, really? Umar Nurmagomedov is going to beat Merab, and that will officially kill the bantamweight division, which, in my opinion, is one of the more entertaining divisions in the UFC, but it's completely slaughtered now, dead, killed, especially if Umar Nurmagomedov gets the title. What's going to be next for Sean O'Malley? It's not the immediate rematch. You could do Corey Sandhagen, I suppose, or a fight that I would like to see is maybe if they wait and do Aldo versus O'Malley, if Aldo comes through his fight at UFC 307. Also, yeah, let's finish up on round 5, Herb Dean. Yo, can someone tell him to shut the fuck up? Why does he keep saying to these people, to Sean O'Malley and Merab, let's work. Like, they were working the entire fight, and then for round 5, this guy just sounds like a fucking broken record. Shut up. But anyway, I just don't even want to talk about this main event anymore. Sean O'Malley's just let everybody down. Fuck you. Next up, co-main event. I don't even want to talk about this fight either. This was diabolical. This was probably one of the worst fights I've ever seen. So Alexia Grasso, let's just run through a few things here quickly. So this is your third time fighting Valentina Shevchenko. The first time you beat her. The second time you got a draw, which controversial. But again, you were in those fights. So why in the trilogy did you just decide to just completely drop like any form of skill? You got taken down by Valentina Shevchenko at will, and it was kind of like the Charles Oliveira effect with Alexia Grasso. She would get close to getting some submissions and then would just be so happy to work off her back. Oliveira does it as well. It's so fucking annoying. Get to your feet. Like, I understand you get taken down and you work for a couple of submissions, obviously, but not for 5 rounds. Get up. I don't even want to spend any more time talking about this fight. It was shit. Next up, we've got Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. Yeah, it was a fun one, to be honest. Diego Lopez hurt Brian Ortega badly in the first round, but I don't know if Brian Ortega just like has like a telepathic power where, like, for some reason, Yair Rodriguez done the exact same thing. They hurt him badly in the first round, and then instead of going back to your feet, Brian, they go, hey, yeah, let's play the ground game with him. Now, Diego Lopez was landing some big shots on the ground against Brian Ortega in round 1. I feel like if Diego Lopez, after he hurt him and dropped him, if Diego Lopez had went, get him up, and the referee stood him back up, I think he would have finished Brian Ortega. Outside of that, though, Diego Lopez didn't really face any adversity. Although, one thing that we are starting to notice, especially now that he's really taking a jump up in competition, and I thought it was maybe just because the Dan Ige weight situation, change of opponent, etc. But it just is a thing. Diego Lopez visibly slows down in the later stages of the fight. Obviously, a lot of people do that. That's like not out of the ordinary, but you can see a big drop off with Diego Lopez, and against these guys like Volkanovski, Topuria especially, and Max Holloway, I don't think Diego Lopez beats any of those guys, and I think it ends badly if he gets in there with Topuria. His chin is constantly up in the air. He's there to be hit. I think Ilia Topuria would sleep Diego Lopez in 2 rounds, to be honest. What's next for him? He did talk about a title, which would be interesting. If Volkanovski isn't going to fight one of these guys at lightweight, I think Diego Lopez versus Volkanovski could be a fun one if they're not going to give Volkanovski the fight against whoever wins in Topuria versus Holloway right away. I think that would be a fun fight to make, to be honest. But a good win for Diego Lopez. He's going to be ranked number 3 now in the featherweight division. Let's just skim through the rest of the card quickly. Daniel Zellhuber versus Ribovic, probably one of the best fights I've seen. Definitely deserved fight of the night. The commentary were glazing Daniel Zellhuber a bit much, especially in the third round when Ribovic was close to finishing him. Overall, though, that was a great fight. Ronaldo Rodriguez, O'Day Osborne built up so much hype in the press conference and was shit. Irene Aldana, that cut, ugh, disgusting. That was a brutal cut she suffered. Manuel Torres versus Bahamontes. Bully B and his gym striking again. Round 1 KO for Bahamontes. Then you've got Yasmin Uregui. She got finished in the first round, got caught, and then got caught in that submission. It was a pretty bad finish, to be honest. She got choked out cold. Joshua Van got back in there, got a pretty good win over Edgar Chairez in their fight. Joshua Van, that wee sequence they had where Van was landing the body shots and hurt Chairez, and then Chairez caught Joshua Van. That was a great fight. And then Raul Rosas Jr., it was a layup. He was always going to win that fight, let's be honest. Would have been nice to see him get the finish instead of a decision. But nonetheless, choo-wee-wees. That's the UFC 306. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. I thought the Sphere was a class venue, and I'd love to see the UFC go back with a more stacked card. Let me know what you thought of 306 in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.